How's it going, guys? It's Nate here, and it's hot off the presses. Bethesda Game Studios has just announced and released the teaser trailer for their next game called Fallout 76. After about 24 hours of teasing with ominous tweets and a cryptic livestream featuring Vault Boy bobbleheads and dabbing puppets, Bethesda dropped the teaser for this upcoming new game. With many of us previously suspecting that Bethesda would be announcing something else like Starfield or The Elder Scrolls 6 or even a Fallout 3 remaster at this year's E3, this Fallout 76 announcement has come completely out of left field. Leading up to today and since Fallout 4 came out, there have been no significant leaks implying Bethesda was developing another Fallout game, let alone what seems to be a spin-off. But no matter, today we're going to dive right into this title and I'm going to tell you everything we currently know about Fallout 76. So right off the bat, let's address the elephant in the room. This game's number, Fallout 76. It's not Fallout 5, but it's still certainly an addition to the Fallout franchise regardless. Well, Fallout 76 gets its name from Vault 76, which was shown off in the teaser. Vault 76 is a vault that's been touched upon in previous Fallout games, albeit very lightly. What we do know, however, is that 76 was what was called a control vault. So, as we all know, in the Fallout universe, the US military set up various vaults, and each vault includes its own experiment that is being carried out on the population. Some vaults were set up to train child soldiers, others were built to study the effects of a tyrannical overseer, like the one in Fallout 3. While the vaults were marketed as a way to protect yourself against a nuclear war, that wasn't their real purpose. They were really just trying to study what would happen to their populations with these experiments, and then use that data to benefit the United States military and other institutions. Well, a few vaults were built that actually had no experiments being conducted on them or their people. They were supposed to be just normal underground life, or as normal as it can get, you get the idea. These vaults were called controlled vaults. The purpose of building controlled vaults was that so Vault-Tec and the US government had something to compare all the crazy experimental vaults with. It would give scientists and observers an idea of what normal life looked like when people weren't getting experimented on and tormented. It made it easier for them to determine what's happening to people as a result of a specific experiment, and what's going to happen regardless as a result of normal underground life. Now, in addition to being a controlled vault, Vault 76 was designed to open only 20 years after the bombs fell, in the year 2097, so the inhabitants could begin recolonizing the Earth as soon as it became habitable again. Interestingly, in the trailer we got to see a brief shot of a computer, which shows the date in fact being October 27th, 2102. Or 25 years after the Great War began/ended. This suggests that assuming the game does take place in 2102, that Fallout 76 will be the earliest set Fallout game ever, with the second earliest being Fallout 1, which took place in 2161, and Fallout 4, for reference, was set in 2287. Every other Fallout game took us hundreds of years after the bombs fell. This one takes us almost to the immediate aftermath. Taking place so soon after the Great War means that the world we see and experience in Fallout 76 will be one very different from the other Fallout games, taking us to a time long before the Brotherhood of Steel came into any sort of prominence, and well before the Enclave began its reclamation. Not to mention the scars of nuclear war will still be very fresh on this land. Places should be even more radioactive and less hospitable than what we're used to. Hell, the climate should even be a little bit cooler so soon after a nuclear winter. Already, this Fallout game is looking very different. So, we've got a time frame. Where is Vault 76 taking place, though, on a map? Well, we're actually never told where this mysterious vault lies in any of the Fallout games. However, Bethesda still gave us a very good idea, as the teaser trailer we saw this morning was set to the song Take Me Home, Country Roads, a song that is set in West Virginia, and the state's name is repeated throughout the performance, so it's very likely that Vault 76 lies somewhere in West Virginia. For those of you who aren't aware, West Virginia is indeed an American state that notably sits on the Appalachian Mountains, one of the United States' largest mountain ranges, so we can expect a hilly, mountainous terrain to play a pretty considerable role in the upcoming title. Fallout lore doesn't tell us a whole lot of what's been happening in this state. Seriously, we know very little of what happened to West Virginia in the years after Fallout broke away from our current timeline. This certainly affords Bethesda a lot of creative freedom. It's also noteworthy that West Virginia, in the real world, is a much less densely populated region than those that we're used to exploring in most Fallout games. Boston has a population of over 600,000. DC has around 700,000. Charleston, the largest city in West Virginia, only has about 50,000 people, so exploring urban environments and destroyed subways likely won't be a common theme throughout this new game. But it's also possible that the game could extend outside of West Virginia's borders, to nearby states such as Virginia proper and Pennsylvania, which do in fact have many more metropolitan settings. So what about gameplay? Is it just going to be another open world single player RPG shooter like previous Fallout installments? Well, here's where it gets even more interesting. The answer is no. According to Kotaku's Jason Schreier, who claims to have an inside source at Bethesda, and we have no reason to doubt his claim, seeing as he correctly predicted Fallout 76's announcement long before any of us had a clue, well, he reports that Fallout 76 is actually going to be an online game, developed by Bethesda Game Studios' Maryland team and its Austin division. He was quick to clarify that he's not claiming that Fallout 76 is going to be an MMO, akin to the Elder Scrolls Online or anything, but that it's simply not going to be a strictly single-player experience. He's also said that anyone that expects it to be a traditionally single-player RPG is gonna be very disappointed. It's very likely that Fallout 76 will allow us to explore the wasteland with a friend for the first time in the franchise's history. Although you may be surprised to know that Bethesda's actually dabbled in this multiplayer realm before. In a 2017 interview, Todd Howard actually admitted that Bethesda designs a multiplayer mode for every game they make, but always end up scrapping it in the end. So, at least in theory, Bethesda does seem to have quite a bit of multiplayer experience and have been tinkering with it for years. But it looks like this will be the first time they put that all to use. Hey guys, Nate from the future here. So as I was putting this video together, we got a lot more information from Jason Schreier, who commented more on what that whole multiplayer element means for Fallout Vault 76. He published an article on Kotaku that claims it's actually looking to be more of a survival-esque building style game than what we're used to, saying, quote, originally prototyped as a multiplayer version of Fallout 4, with the goal of envisioning what an online Fallout game might look like, Fallout 76 has evolved quite a bit over the past few years, those sources said. It will have quests and a story, like any other game from Bethesda Game Studios, a developer known for meaty RPGs like Skyrim, but it will also feature base building, just like 2015's Fallout 4, and other survival-based and multiplayer mechanics according to those sources. One source cautioned that the gameplay is rapidly changing, like it does in many other online service games, but that's the core outline. He went on to say that Fallout 76 is, quote, in fact, an online survival RPG heavily inspired by games like DayZ and Rust, according to people familiar with the project. There's a lot of things Bethesda Game Studios doesn't do, but taking risks isn't one of them, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless, Fallout 76, despite belonging to a very similar franchise, looks like it's going to be taking it in a very new direction, with a different time period, and possibly even different amount of sole survivors. It's a big risk for Bethesda, but they seem confident it'll pay off. Let's all hope that they're right. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this video or found it informative in some way, like ratings are, as always, very much appreciated. And what are your own thoughts on all of this? What do you think about a multiplayer Fallout coming to fruition, or the game taking place so much earlier than most of the titles? Are you excited for this new change of pace, or does it kind of frighten you a little? I'd love to know how you feel about this in the comment section down below. But again, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Peace out, everyone.